uh, in the first half of this game. I believe it was midway through the second quarter.
Mm-hmm.
During a timeout, Kyle Anderson and Rudy Gobert get into a back and forth. Some people have posted some possessions from before that, including our friend Rob Perez. I don't want to presume. I don't think it's known. At least I don't know.
Chris Finch seemed to indicate, I watched his press conference after the game, seemed to indicate there was some missed rotations and seemed to sort of indicate there were some issues defensively that led to this conversation.
I mean, MacMahon, you've covered Kyle Anderson from Memphis. I mean, his reputation, he's not afraid to say things to teammates. I don't think he's like at the I don't think he's at the Draymond Green level, but he's not afraid to say things. He's not afraid to say things to teammates.
And reading the reporting from Woj and Andrew Lopez, exactly what he said that led to the punch was "shut the F up, B." I mean, that's worse than I even talked to Bontemps. Are you kidding me? But you know what though? Let's be honest. In the heat of the moment on the bench, guys say stuff like that. Like, you can't punch your teammate in the middle of a game. Well, you can't punch your teammate, period. But especially not in the middle of the game.
Speaking
of a must-win game with TV cameras all over the place.
Speaking of punching your teammate, just classic NBA moment here. In the preseason, Rudy Gobert tweeted after Draymond Green punched Jordan Poole, and that became public. Rudy Gobert tweeted, "Insecurity is always loud."
Listen.
And then hold on. Okay. Then Draymond today, post game, tweeted, "Insecurity is always loud."
Well, yeah. Those two have a thing going back years.
Well, and Mike, they both have a point.
Yes.
So Rudy is
so Rudy, they pull Rudy away. Taurean Prince stood up in the middle of the altercation and kind of got into Rudy's chest. So they had to pull Rudy away. He went to the locker room. It's a short walk between the Blazers bench and their tunnel at Target Center. And so Rudy was gone and they sent him home. And so now with this vitally important game, they're without their franchise center. Then Jaden McDaniels, who is, one of their most important players.
Their best perimeter defender.
Without question. One of the better perimeter defenders in the league.
It's so important that they rather would throw another first-round pick than give him up in the Gobert deal over the summer.
Right. That's what happened. And so he was frustrated coming out of the game for going back into the tunnel at the end of the first half. I'm not sure why he was frustrated. He didn't play in the second quarter, I think. I'm not sure what the deal was, but he punched the wall and broke his hand. And so now he is out for almost certainly the remainder of whatever season the Wolves are going to have.
He's not guarding LeBron in the playing game. They needed him to. That's for sure.
So they got two teams. So Gobert is, I assume, going to take this flight on Monday. I mean, we'll probably get more information on Monday, but
I mean, everybody who talked after the game, certainly, I mean, Kyle Anderson and Mike Conley both essentially said the guy's got to play on Tuesday. So,
okay. But I just don't want to make an assumption. It's Sunday night.
There's
a lag between now and when it comes out. So, meanwhile, the Wolves were behind in this game. Karl Towns has a good second half, scores 17 points. And Ant Edwards makes a couple of absolutely jaw-dropping plays down the stretch of this game, including a block shot on CJ McCollum, where...
How do you know? They showed it in Omaha?
They did not. They did not. No, I didn't see it live. Did catch some highlights, though. And
there you go.
He had a breathtaking help side defensive block. I mean, CJ... I can't believe he would have thought Ant could have gotten there and certainly not challenged him that high. I mean, he pogo stick action. But anyway, Ant makes some plays on the stretch. I think Cat hit some threes in the second half, which helped them overcome. And they wiggle out the 8th seed, which it could have been worse. They could have had the 9th seed and had to win 2 games. Now that's going to be New Orleans' fate. And so, I don't know what to make of this. I don't. This has been a wild season all around for the Timberwolves.
Yeah,
they've had some real bad fortune. They've also have had some self-inflicted wounds, not just the punch today, but some of the personnel decisions that they've made. The Lakers. are getting a wounded team coming in to play them, and it's advantaged them. And if I'm the Wolves, even with the trade for Mike Conley, probably giving them a better chance, even next year of being a better team when you will theoretically have Cat for the whole season. I don't know how you can feel great about where your team is on the last day of the season, apart from just watching Ant Edwards make, championship style plays under that kind of pressure.
Well, you feel great about Ant Edwards, and, credit to Cat, who
say Karl Towns had 30 points on 10 for 19 shooting, hit some massive shots.
Yeah, we've all had our criticism of Cat, who hasn't proven that he's a winner despite all his talent. But boy, this was a big time performance by him. And look, man, you guys know I've got a good relationship with Rudy Gobert. There's no defense of this, and Rudy, admittedly, can be a difficult teammate, right? Going back to the whole Donovan Mitchell Gobert thing, like pre-COVID. There was tension there because Rudy, admittedly, like if Rudy's open for a lob, he doesn't get it, you're going to hear about it. If you blow a defensive rotation, you're going to hear about it. And there's a fine line between annoying the crap out of your teammates and trying to hold guys accountable. And Rudy has struggled with that line. This appeared, I don't know exactly what the argument was about, but Rudy tweaked his back yesterday. He's playing through it, and he was playing poorly, right? I'm just looking at the box score. He was minus 14 in 13 minutes. I'm sure he's frustrated. They had their little interaction, and he handled this poorly. The hope is Kyle Anderson's a grown man. Mike Conley's a calming presence, and they can kind of move past this. But, dude, this is a terrible, terrible, terrible look for Rudy. And there really is no defending a veteran acting like this. And Chris Finch said after the game, immaturity has been a problem for that team all year long. And it certainly reared its ugly head today.
Well, listen, this is why, again, getting Mike Conley was such an important thing, right? I mean, you brought up 2 months before the trade that Mike Conley would be the perfect kind of guy for Minnesota to get. And for him to be there, obviously he's the kind of guy that can help them get through this kind of thing. And look, Kyle Anderson grew up here. He played at St. Anthony's for Bob Hurley in Jersey City. As he sort of, I assume, said jokingly after the game, it's not the first time he's been in a bit of a scrape during a game. Like, this is a guy who is an adult, as you said, and Mike Conley is an adult, and I think these guys will be fine. I think the bigger issue, frankly, everybody's going to understandably focus on the Rudy situation. The far bigger issue is this Jaden McDaniels thing.
Probably out for the playoffs. Like, he broke his shooting hand. I can't see how you can play with that.
Well, I'm just trying to hedge. They haven't put out an injury report yet.
Right. But
best case scenario, the guy's got a broken shooting hand.
Yeah. You have to
kind of tough for a guy who needs to shoot a basketball.
Well, you have to assume he's not playing on Tuesday, and if they lose, he's not playing on Friday. So let's just stop playing from that standpoint.
Can I tell you something kind of funny? I did actually play most of my senior year of high school with I broke this bone, the pinky bone in my hand. You want to know how I did it?
Punching a wall?
No, it was a door.
Well,
was it over
after
on the basketball court, or was it something else?
You were slightly less skilled than Jaden McDaniels too.
No doubt. It was after a fight with a teammate, though.
Can't believe that too. Can't believe that.
But God, the McDaniels thing is like, if that was what happened in this game, it would still be like, we'd still be talking about the Timberwolves. And then the fact that the guy that they gave up essentially 5 first-round picks and some role players to get this summer is punching a teammate in a critical game of the season finale. It's just an unbelievable cluster bleed.
Well, and then they turn around and they play great the rest of the game and, really controlled a lot of the game and won. Ant had 8 turnovers, but he made some spectacular plays late. Like you said, Brian, that was literally yelled when he made the block on CJ. I thought CJ had a layup. And all of a sudden, Ant came out of nowhere, not only blocked it, but the ball was able to be kept in bounds and it went the other way. And he eventually scored after one of those turnovers became a turnover back the other way. But, this is going to be a really interesting game on Tuesday, I think, even with McDaniels out. The Lakers don't really have somebody to guard Ant. Now, they also now don't necessarily have somebody to guard LeBron. There's this whole Rudy dynamic that's going to be interesting. Cat is playing really well, shooting the ball well. Mike Conley is not a stranger in playing big games like this. Like it's a pretty interesting matchup. It should be a really fun game.
So let me read this tweet real quick. This is from Chris Hine, who covers the Wolves for the Star Tribune up there in Minnesota. Said this was after the incident, obviously. He said he'd been working on a piece about Kyle Anderson's leadership and his blunt, honest way of talking to teammates. He asked Rudy about Kyle Anderson yesterday. This is Rudy's quote. Kyle wants to win, and sometimes he's a little aggressive in the way he talks, but I don't take it personally. I receive it in a positive way because it comes from a place of wanting me to be the best Rudy I can be and wanting us to win. I love his competitiveness, love the way he plays the game, the way he makes others around him better. He's been a huge part of this year. So, hey, this is who Kyle Anderson is. He might mix in a cuss word or two when he's confronting a teammate on the bench. Rudy yesterday appreciated it. Today, Rudy was clearly in his feelings, probably because he wasn't playing well and reacted poorly. And, now the Wolves, hey, let's shake hands, hug it out, get on a plane and try to get the 7th seed and, off they go.
Here's what Rudy said when he made his statement. Emotions got the best of me today. I should not have reacted the way I did, regardless of what was said. It was kind of interesting.
He probably could have left that part out.
Editorial comment there. I want to apologize to the fans, the organization, and particularly to Kyle, who is someone I truly love and respect as a teammate. So, he had to do something to ensure that that he could play tomorrow. Tuesday.
No, Rudy absolutely needed to apologize publicly. It's one thing to do it in the group text. It's another thing. And again, I will say this about Rudy. When Rudy is wrong, he will take, with the Donovan Mitchell thing, Rudy took accountability for his issues or his, role in that relationship becoming frayed. Frankly, I never thought Donovan did. Rudy did. But Rudy still, he does annoy the hell out of teammates sometimes, oftentimes.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.